I have 11 AI agents running 24/7 autonomously around the clock, and my Openclaw agent manages all of them to build profitable apps while I sleep. Just yesterday, they built 7 apps, tested them, added payments, and uploaded them to the App Store, all in a single afternoon, using less than 5% of my Openclaw's context window. All apps go through a 9-step rigorous framework, things like research, idea validation, building the app, monetization strategies, designing the icons, and even creating promo videos. It took me 3 failed attempts to get here and over 100 hours of testing, and I'm going to break down the exact blueprint I used to build this thing, the lessons that I learned along the way, and how I plan to autonomously market these apps to generate millions of views. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Doobie. I'm a former marketer who now builds AI apps live on stream. I'm currently documenting a challenge to reach 100K using AI, and in just 1 month, I've already generated $46,000 and grown a following of over 10,000 people. I also run a community called Booby Builders, where 1,000 plus members are learning to build their own apps with AI. Now, before I show you how, let me show you why I'm going all in on apps and why you should too. You see, the global app market hit $300 billion last year, and it's literally beating the S&P 500 with a 14% annual growth rate. So by 2035, it's expected to reach $1 trillion. Apple alone takes 70% of all consumer spending, despite having less than 30% of mobile market share. Now, to put that in perspective for you, on average, Android users spend $1.40 per month on apps, which is 7.5 times less than Apple users. Still not convinced? All right, let's play a game. I'm going to show you an app and you're going to guess how much money it makes. Ready? Okay, first up, we've got an app that claims to make you taller. How much are we thinking? $50? $500? Maybe $1,000? This app made $90,000 just last month. Okay, one more. An app that records your snoring. $5K per month? $50K? Oh, no. This app is making $400,000 per month. And if you zoom out a bit, it makes sense. There are 1.4 billion people who own an iPhone, but as of early 2026, only 2 million apps to service them, meaning the app market is a literal goldmine. Now, obviously, 80% of apps on the App Store make less than $1,000 a month, which sounds bad until you flip the math. The top 20%, 400,000 apps are making over $1,000 per month. A few years ago, a simple iOS app would cost anywhere between $20 to $40K to build with a development team. A slightly more complex app could run you up to $100K. My app factory runs for just $1,000 a month in AI tokens and has the potential to build over 100 apps. We're playing a numbers game here. You see, this guy James is a solo developer who built a portfolio of 30 apps. He went from a failed first app to $60,000 a month. His strategy was simple: ship fast, validate with App Store keywords, double down on what works, and kill what doesn't. This guy David launched 58 apps that went nowhere. His 59th was Widgetsmith, 131 million downloads and $200,000 a month in revenue. The pattern is volume and iteration. Most individual apps fail, but if you're shipping fast enough and learning from each one, you will eventually win. That's exactly what the factory automates. Not one perfect app, a pipeline that keeps shipping with self-improvement loops baked in. Now, I'm sure you've heard of Openclaw by now, an AI agent framework that went from 0 to 200,000 stars faster than any project in GitHub history, and arguably the most powerful AI agent framework in the world right now. But one of the biggest challenges people are facing is context bloat. I've literally reset my Openclaw 3 times because of this. First time, I was using Openclaw for everything: personal assistant, X-posting, content scripts, and the app factory. 2 days later, it became completely useless. Context window was full, the apps were trash, the tweets were shit, everything was so I reset it. Second time round, I stripped it back to just handling one task: building apps. But building an entire iOS app is a massive task, and by the time Openclaw finished one app, there was literally no context left to build another. So this third time round, I took a completely different approach. I used Claude Code to build the entire system from scratch, and I designed it in a way where my Openclaw agent Sheldon just plugs into this pre-built system and orchestrates the whole thing. So now, instead of Sheldon doing the heavy lifting, we've got dedicated sub-agents for each phase. I call them project leads, and they handle all the complex work. Sheldon just sits on top and directs traffic. For example, if research is done, the research agent reports back. Sheldon says cool, tells the validation agent to check the research. Once the idea is validated, Sheldon tells the builder agent to start building, and so on. Each sub-agent handles its own context, does its work, and reports back. AI engineer Austin Alrod puts it nicely when he says a single agent is powerful, but multiple agents, each specialized for a specific task and coordinated by a central router, can tackle problems of a completely different order of magnitude. And this is exactly how the entire factory runs on less than 5% of Sheldon's context window. So if there's anything you take away from this video, start using Claude Code to build systems that you want your Openclaw to operate inside of. So this is the control panel where all the magic happens. Up top, you got 4 metrics: active projects, shipped apps, queue length, and what needs my attention. Right now it's building 3 apps simultaneously. The projects tab shows each app with a progress bar and a quality score out of 10. Pantry Pal is in the deploy phase and GymSnap is ready to be uploaded. Now, if I tap on my app, it extends into a one-pager. This is actually one of my favorite parts. The one-pager shows the AI's research and validation for the specific idea, the pain points it identified, the target user, what features to include, the monetization strategy, and more. Basically, every decision the AI made to get from idea to execution is documented right here. This lets me see a really high-level overview of why the AI chose the idea and whether I agree. The blue text is a live feed from the AI agents updating in real time, and you can kind of just watch them work. I made this to give me peace of mind that things are moving in the back end, because sometimes the agent could be stuck in the build phase for 10 to 20 minutes, and this lets me know that it's still working. So how do the app ideas get generated? Sheldon runs its own research process. It scans Reddit and X for pain points, people complaining about broken workflows, missing tools, things they wish existed. It checks App Store categories for high demand and low competition, and then cross-references all of that with what's technically feasible for our app factory to build, and generates the one-pager I showed earlier. The first time I watched the AI pitch me an idea, I was just in complete awe. And it makes total sense why AI should be used for research, because it can literally scan through hundreds of websites before I even finish going through one. The idea queue is where research ideas get lined up. When there's capacity, the orchestrator pulls the next one and starts building. Now, before I get into the actual build framework, if you want to be one of the first to try out this autonomous app factory, you can sign up to the waitlist in the first link below. So I've got Sheldon running every 5 minutes on a cron job. It checks how many projects are active with a maximum of 5 at a time. For each one, it reads the project state file to figure out what phase it's in, then spawns a Claude Code session with the right prompt for that phase. The session does the work, updates the state, and exits. No excess compute wasted. Don't rely on conversation history for important state. Always write it to files. This one shift has improved my agent workflow like a ton. All 11 agents used throughout the workflow run on 4 models, each with a specific job. Claude Opus 4.6 is the builder, writes all the Swift and Swift UI code. This is done by feeding it a prompt from the ideation phase with instructions on how to structure the code, how to handle permissions, and what every screen needs. And from that single prompt, Opus builds the entire app. Codex 5.3 is the reviewer. After Opus finishes, Codex reads every file and independently verifies the code for crash risks, missing features, permission bugs, and code quality. Now, if you're wondering, why use Opus and Codex separately for the build? Well, from experience, I've noticed that if you get the model who wrote the code to also review it, it'll have a bias and cut corners. So that's why I let Opus build and Codex review. To further assist with the build, we also feed it templates that already include payments, onboarding, and a Gemini Flash AI wrapper to power the actual AI features used inside the app, like the plant identification in Plant Pulse and the receipt scanning in Warranty Vault. It's super cheap and actually does a really good job. Then we have Sonnet 4.6 to handle fast routing, logging metadata, and quick decisions. Okay, next we have debatably the most important phase of the factory, quality gates. So we have Codex reviewing the code, but after that we also have 6 automated checks run. Based off these checks, each app gets a score out of 10. In order for an app to pass to the next phase, it needs an 8 or higher. 3 failures and it gets flagged for me to look at manually. I actually stole this concept off the Ralph Wiggum plugin that went viral, where it prompts your agent to retry, adjust, learn, and pass to human. The only difference is, instead of brute forcing it, the factory flags it after the 3rd unsuccessful attempt. You see, Apple rejected over 1 million apps last year, and on average, 40% of the new apps rejected on their first submission. So these rigorous tests make sure we pass our submissions. Now, after all that, every app gets payments hooked up through Apple's Store Kit, which I wish I knew sooner because I literally spent 2 days configuring the Stripe API before realizing Apple has its own payment system built in, so don't make my mistake. People also usually take a 30% cut, but for the first million in revenue, it's only 15% through their small business program. The factory analyzes the app's validation and research document and picks the right payment strategy for that app, which is either a free trial or a freemium model. You can see with the Warranty Vault, an app that lets you track warranties, it chose a freemium model where users could list up to 3 items before being prompted with a paywall, whereas Pantry Pal uses a free trial model so users can experience the magic of the main feature, which is the AI recipe generator. Now, from our research, we found free trials do convert 6 times better than hard paywalls, so most apps are coded to get a 7-day trial. Once an app passes quality and monetization, it gets packaged for the App Store. The factory literally generates the App Store listing, description, keywords, even the screenshots, and every app gets a unique icon generated through Nano Banana Pro. I actually had to build a system for the AI to open the app and press all the buttons so it could navigate through each screen and capture those screenshots for me, because I really want to make sure that when everything uploads to Apple's developer portal, there is as little human involvement as possible, and that includes taking screenshots. It also generates 3 to 5 onboarding screens explaining the app to new users. I added this after hearing about how important they are from the founder of Cal AI, a macro tracking app printing 4 mil a month right now. Once all that is done, the only manual step left is pressing submit. Apple only lets you have 5 apps in review per developer account at a time, so the factory queues submissions and I approve them in batches. So now we've submitted the app, but how are we going to get customers? Well, remember how I said the entire factory runs on 5% of Openclaw's context window? I designed it lean on purpose because the factory is only half the job. The other 95% is reserved for what actually brings users, the marketing. Now, coming from a marketing background, I know better than anyone else that the factory is essentially useless unless it handles marketing as well. I haven't actually built this section yet, but I want to show you guys how I plan to tackle it because it's actually super easy to set up and really cool. The plan is to run multiple TikTok and Instagram accounts across different content categories: health and fitness, home and lifestyle, gardening, productivity, personal finance. Each account builds an audience around that category with native content. The AI generates this content autonomously, builds a following, and when a relevant app ships, like a fitness tracker from the factory, it gets a mention. Now, in order for me to run this autonomously, I'll be using the Larry skill. Larry is an Openclaw agent built by Oliver Henry that generated 8 million views in a single week through autonomous TikTok slideshows. It literally generates the images and hooks and then iterates based on results and self-learning loops. For example, if a hook gets a lot of views but doesn't convert, it knows that it has actually attracted the wrong audience and writes that into its code so it doesn't make that mistake again. If you want the Larry skill, it's completely free and open source, but if you want to take it up a notch, he also provides a paid subscription that comes with 50 additional pro skills that all sync seamlessly together to build a literal god of an Openclaw agent, like this web scraping skill, or this one that literally lets my Openclaw Sheldon post tweets seamlessly on X. I'll leave a link in the description below. So for the marketing to be successful, we got to have a cool promo video, right? The factory handles that too. Using Remotion inside Claude Code, it generates a demo video for each app. By the time Pantry Pal hits the App Store, it already has a promo video ready to post. Research the idea, build the app, test it, add payments, design the icon, submit it, make a video, post it, all autonomously using Openclaw. Now you know the full loop, you can build it yourself. The best automation is the kind you forget you built. It just runs silently, making your life better while you sleep. And if you don't want to build it yourself, you can sign up for early access in the first link below. And if you want to see what these apps actually do and how Openclaw agents are already making real money, I made a full breakdown. You can check it out right here.